for a conclusion. There is no need for explanation because you are familiar with this topic. Okay, so I'm going to start a new topic, and this new topic, I cannot say that this is a new topic. This is a just revision of a topic covered in right from 6th standard onwards, and the topic is active and passive voice. Okay, and I know that you are familiar with this topic. There is no need for any introduction, but still I need to repeat all the points that we covered all the classes since right from 6th standard onwards. Okay, so let me introduce the topic to you children. The topic is active and passive voice. Okay, so we are going yes,
did you send the determinants notes?
it's there, upload it. Already uploaded, all notes are uploaded now. Anyway, the time to learn the voice. Okay, you are familiar with the concept active and passive voice. You can see in the sentence I have just brought two characters, that is Tom and Jerry, a mouse and a cat. In the first picture you can see that Tom is chasing Jerry the mouse, right? And what is happening in the second picture? The second picture also, Tom is chasing mouse, right? There is no change. Only we have changed the position of Tom and Jerry, right? Yes or no?
Mm.
In the first sentence, Tom's position comes first and Jerry just before him. And in the second sentence also, you can see that Tom is the one who is chasing Jerry the mouse. And we have just changed the position of Tom the cat and Jerry the mouse, right? This is what is happening in active and passive voice. We are not changing the meaning. We are not changing the concept. We are not changing anything. And this is called transformation of sentence also. Or this concept is also coming under the concept called transformation of sentences. Okay. So without changing the meaning, if we change the position by changing the position of the subject and object in a sentence, we can make another sentence and we are not changing the meaning as such, right? Yes or no? So what is active and passive voice, children? Keep this picture in your mind and you please remember active and passive voice are the two different ways of explaining or to give one single idea without changing the meaning. So we are expressing one single idea in two different ways without changing the meaning using active and passive voice. Okay. And when you think about active and passive voice, just remember, in active voice, as I have told you, we need a subject and we need an object. Okay. If you want to change a sentence from active and passive voice, the first and foremost thing is that you need an object in a sentence, right? You need a subject in the beginning position and you need an object in the ending position, isn't it? Yes or no? Yes or no? So in active voice, the subject, it gets predominance or it is important. Okay, it plays a vital role. Whereas in the passive voice, the same subject of the active voice is passive. Okay, the subject of the active voice is passive in passive voice and object gets predominance there in passive voice. Okay, whereas in active voice, the subject gets predominance and the object is passive. Am I clear? So subject active in active voice and the object is actively placed in a passive voice sentences. Okay, the verb is active and it is there to show a tense form, any one of the 12 tense form in active voice, whereas the form of be and past participle form is used in the position of a verb in passive voice. These are the important points that you should keep in your mind. Let me explain this with the help of the slides. These are the important points that you should remember. As you all know, active and passive voice are the two different ways of expressing one single idea without changing the meaning. Point number 2, I said, in active voice, the subject gets predominance. In passive voice, the object gets predominance. And as per the third point I said, see children, we need an object at the end of an active voice sentence before changing it into passive voice. If there is no object, you are unable to change the sentence from active voice to passive voice. So you need an object in an active voice sentence before changing. Am I clear? If there is no object in active voice means unable to change your sentences. Am I clear? It is not possible for you to change a sentence without object from active voice to passive voice. It should need an object at the end. If you want to change a sentence from active voice to passive voice, remember, we need an object in the active voice sentences. If there is no object, no passive voice form. Clear? Am I clear? So now my next question is, how can we identify a sentence written in active voice and a sentence written in passive voice? As I have told you, children, it is very easy. We need to think only the position about or a position of a verb. Okay, we need to think about the position of a verb. See where the verb is placed. Okay, if the verb is in a proper position, if the verb is in any one of the 12 tense form, then you can call it as, okay, the sentence is written in active voice sentence because it is written with a finite verb. It has a tense form. Okay, if there is no, it is not possible for you to identify the finite verb, and the verb is written using any one of the be form plus past participle form. I repeat, be plus past participle form is used in the position of a verb, then you can call it as a passive voice sentence. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I clear? Yes, or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so children, point number 1, active and passive voice are the two different ways of expressing one single idea. Okay, point number 2, I said, in active voice, the subject gets predominance. In passive voice, the object is active.
This is the first slide you shown, right?
Who is speaking?
Ma'am, this is the first slide you shown, right?
Yes. The first one was a picture of Tom and Jerry. Then this one is the second. Okay. And third point, as I have told you, all sentences cannot be changed into passive. I saw a snake. Okay, this is my favorite sentence. Okay, I saw a snake. Here you can see the sentence is starting with the subject. It has a finite verb, and the finite verb is giving an idea about a tense form. This is written in simple past, isn't it? And it has a object at the end of the sentence. Okay, so we have a finite verb. So the sentence, the sentence is written in active voice and it has an object. So we can change the sentence from active voice to passive voice. Okay, at the same time, if I write birds fly, okay, birds fly, I have a finite verb. I am able to identify the tense. Okay, it is in simple present tense, but still I cannot change the sentence from active voice to passive voice because the object is absent here. Clear? So all the sentences cannot be changed into passive voice. Only the sentences with objects can be turned into passive voice. If there is no object, no passive voice form. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
a sentence in active voice can be identified by looking at the verb. Again, I'm saying just look at the sentence. I saw a snake here. By looking at the verb, you know the word saw is the verb. In the sentence, I saw a snake, right? So if you want to identify whether the sentence is written in active or passive voice, look at the verb. Identify the verb first. Okay, if the verb is in any one of the 12 tense form, out of 12 tense form, if it is written in simple present, if it is written in past perfect, if it is written in simple future, if you are able to identify the tense of your sentence by looking at so the verb, then it is in active voice. Whereas if it is very easy to identify a sentence written in passive voice because passive voice sentence takes, or the verb in passive voice, it takes the form of be plus past participle form. What are the be forms, children?
Is,
Am,
is, are,
is, are,
Was, were.
was, were,
was, were, was, were.
had.
That is have forms. These are the be forms. Being is the past participle form and being is the present participle form of the verb. Okay, so these are the be forms. If your verb is written any one of the be form plus past participle form, what is past participle form? This is the third form of the verb, like write, wrote, written, writing. So in this group of words, you can see that written as the past participle form. Sing, sang, sung, singing. So sung is the past participle form, isn't it? So along with the be form, if you use past participle form in the position of a verb, then such a sentences are examples for passive voice sentences. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Ma'am.
Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have two sentences. Please, I request everybody to copy the two sentences. She has chosen. She has chosen by her grammar teacher. Next sentence. She was chosen.
Again, repeat the first sentence.
She has chosen. She has chosen by her grammar teacher. She was chosen by her music teacher. Identify the voice. Identify the voice. Lakshmi Chandra.
Ma'am, can you repeat?
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
She has chosen by a grammar teacher. She was chosen by her musical teacher or music teacher. Lakshmi Chandra, are you present in the class? Okay, I'm moving to Nelvin. Nelvin K. Anoba. Identify the voice of the two sentences. And tell me the reason for that also. For your answer also, justify it. Not able to hear my son? I request you to mute your device, Melvin. But I cannot hear Nelvin. Aditya Anup. I can see many videos are off. I request everybody to switch on your video. Aditya Anup, I cannot hear you.
Ma'am.
Identify the voice of the given sentences. How many voice? Adityan, how many voice? Rudra Sanil?
Yes, ma'am.
Switch on your video.
Ma'am, when I switch on my video, your voice is breaking.
Okay. Okay. So Rudra, how many voice?
Two voice,
What are they?
active and passive.
Okay. Now you have got two sentences. And tell me which one is in which voice?
Both are in passive voice.
Both are in passive voice. Are you sure? Then justify your answer. I'm not disagreeing with your answer. If that is your answer, tell me why you selected this as your, or why you selected both the sentences as an active voice. You said passive voice, right? Passive voice, yes.
Ma'am, because the use of the word like by.
I never said to check a sentence. See how to identify a sentence. The method I have told you to use for identifying a sentence in active or passive voice is very simple. I never said to look at the word by. If you check the
Ma'am,
word by,
your video stop.
if the sentence is written in imperative sentence, there is no by at the end of your passive voice sentences. So always if you think about by in your mind, you won't be able to identify. So you are wrong, Rudra. So wrong identification. The method is wrong. So now Bahaja Abdul Majid,
Yes, ma'am.
which method you are going to use for identifying active voice and passive voice sentence? Only
I'm checking the verb tense.
excellent, excellent. You need to check the verb, right? So in the first sentence, identify the verb.
Has chosen.
Has chosen. Okay, the first sentence it is has chosen. So is it in the form of, because you have a have form plus a past participle form there, right? So tell me, are you able to identify the tense of the sentence?
Yes, ma'am. Present
what is the-
participle.
Huh?
Present participle.
Think once again your answer.
Present participle tense.
Present participle tense. Is there any tense in the name of present participle? Present participles are ing forms. Present participles means ing forms of verb. Anatros?
Yes, ma'am.
Bahajat said we need to identify the verb first, okay? And she has chosen the verb from the first sentence. And she said, ma'am, it is has chosen. Okay, so Annette Rose, tell me, the sentence is written in any one of the tense form or not? What is the tense of the first sentence if it is written using first form?
Ma'am, it is present perfect.
It is written in present perfect, Bahaja. It's not present participle form. A small error. I know that this is by mistake it happened. I know that you are thorough with the tense form. That is okay. So what is the tense of the sentence, Bahaja? It is not present participle. It is present perfect. Okay. So you are able to identify the tense. So is it written in active voice or passive voice, Annette?
Active voice.
It is written in active voice. Now, Ishal, second sentence.
Ma'am, passive voice.
Why?
Because of the use of be plus past participle.
Which be form is used there?
Was.
Was. And what is the past participle form used there?
Chosen.
So it is the past participle form of which verb? What is the root verb?
Choose.
Choose. Excellent. So was plus chosen, right? Be form plus past participle form. Excellent. So the sentence is written in passive voice, whereas the first one is written in active voice. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now it's time to share the next slide. Okay. Now we have only one single sentence here. This sentence is also, it is very familiar. You learned the sentence last year also. So children, just see this. The boy plays the piano. Okay. Tanmay, tell me the subject of the sentence.
The boy
Tell me the verb of the sentence.
plays
Tell me the object of the sentence.
the piano.
So for, you know, it is written in active voice. Why?
Because plays is one of the 12 verb forms.
Okay,
Tense
it
form.
is a finite verb. It has a tense form. Tell me the tense of the sentence play. Sorry, the word plays.
Simple present.
It is written in simple present. So it has a tense form. So for identifying a sentence written in active and passive voice, we are not checking Rudra. We are not checking the word by. Okay. We are checking only the verb. Okay. If the verb is in any one of the 12 tense form, then it is in active voice. If the verb is in the forms, look at the second one, Tanmay. Read the second one. Subject of the second sentence.
The piano. The boy.
Verb of the second sentence.
Ma'am, in the second sentence, the boy or piano. Subject.
Consider this as a single sentence and tell me the subject of the sentence.
The piano.
The piano is the subject. Is played by the boy is the predicate, isn't it? Is played is the verb, isn't it? The boy
Yes, ma'am.
is the object, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so tell me now. The subject of the second sentence.
The piano
What is the verb of the second sentence?
is played.
What is the object of the second sentence?
The boy.
The boy. Okay. Now, how to identify whether the sentence is written in passive voice or active voice?
By looking at the verb.
So here in the second sentence, the verb is in which form?
Be plus past participle.
Be plus past participle form of the verb. Okay. What are the be forms?
Is, am, are, was, were.
Okay. Is, am, are, was, were. Okay. And what is the second form? Be plus past participle form. So played is the past participle of the verb play, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the method. You please don't think about the word buy. Think about only the word verb. Okay. Check the verb and identify the tense of your sentence. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So yes.
Your video is stuck.
Is it okay now? Is it okay now?
No, ma'am.
Not okay. Zoom is not accepting the camera. One second. Okay, now let me share the next one. Next page. I request everybody to pay attention here. So we have 3 points to remember. Okay. We have 3 points to remember. What are the 3 points that you should keep in your mind, children? When you change a sentence from active voice to passive voice, the first and foremost thing is that check whether there is an object available in the sentence. Okay. Whether the sentence is it has a transitive verb or it has an intransitive verb. Now you tell me what is the difference between a transitive verb and intransitive verb. What do you mean by transitive verb and what do you mean by intransitive in form? I'll give you 1 second for thinking. Think. The word transitive is just derived from a Latin word, okay, and which means to pass. I repeat, the word transitive is derived from a Latin word which means to pass. Please record this. Please note this. There are 2 types of verbs because this is important when you think about active and passive voice sentences. So the verbs are transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. There are 2 types of verbs, transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. Please do note this. The word transitive is derived from a Latin word which means to pass. TO2PASS, underline to pass. It is called a transitive verb because the action it denotes. It is called a transitive. It is called a transitive verb because the action it denotes. The action it denotes passes from, underline, passes from subject to the object. So it is a must that it should have an object. The verb with an object is called transitive verb. I saw a snake. Okay, so, and we are passing this from I. What? Saw a snake, right? There is a thing to be seen, right? So it is so called because the action it denotes passes from, underline passes from, subject to the object. Passes from subject to the object. Examples. The boy flew kites. So flew, the verb, it has an object. The boy flew kites. What did he fly? If you ask a question, you will get an answer. A kite, right? The boy flew kites. They scalded the children. They scalded the children. The pirates sank the ship. The pirates sank the ship. Albert was making an umbrella. I bought some medicines yesterday. I bought some medicines yesterday. Sarayu borrowed some money. Sarayu borrowed some money. These are the sentences where you can see we can call these verbs are transitive verbs because it has an object at the end of the sentence. Okay, a finite verb with an object, with a direct object is said to be the transitive verb. So all the verbs must be or should be transitive. Then only you can change a sentence from active voice to passive voice. Whereas intransitive verb, next heading, intransitive verb. The action denoted by an intransitive verb. The action denoted by an intransitive verb is complete in itself. That means there is no need for an object after the verb. It is complete. It is clear. There is no need for passing the action from one subject to the other object. Okay, so there is no passing of.
Ma'am, can you go
yes.
a little slow?
Yes, of course. So intransitive verbs. The action denoted by an intransitive verb is complete in itself. Underline, verb is complete in itself. The action denoted by an intransitive verb is complete in itself. Underline, verb is complete in itself. Example.
I slept.
I slept. Wonderful. You know, that's clear. I slept. Idea is clear. There is no need for any object. Excellent, Tanmay. I slept. The birds flew away. The birds flew away. The idea is complete. She plays skillfully. She plays skillfully. The ship sank very fast. The ship sank very fast. Sri Ram is sleeping. I know that you are alert, my son. This is just a sentence, okay? Never mind. Sri Ram is sleeping. Then you write one thing. If Sri Ram is getting very sad after hearing that I'm not sleeping, ma'am, I'm very attentive. So everybody write your name. Ishal is sleeping. Johain is sleeping. You can write your name, everyone. So all of you, including me, we are sleeping. So I can say that Miss Anju is sleeping here. Okay. Sri Ram is sleeping. The book falls. The book falls. I laugh. I laugh. I cry. Okay. I cry. In other words, next line, a finite verb. In another words, a finite verb that does not need an object to make a finite verb that does not need an object to make a complete sentence. To make a complete sentence is called an intransitive verb. One more example. A flock of birds is flying over our head. So by this, I'm going to conclude my class today. We'll be explaining about the change from active voice to passive voice in the next class. Thank you everyone for coming here and attending the class. See you in the next class. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.